backstage noble wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Aboard the Charles W. Morgan, the backstages, Pop and Calvin, are being shanghaied to Yokohama by Captain Wolf Larson, along with a cargo of transistors. The captain, by turns, is warm and friendly, and then surly and menacing. Right now, in his friendly mood, we hear Captain Larson say,
"Are you all having a good time on the good ship, Morgan?"
"Well, yes, we are."
See, Captain, I don't want to upset you any.
Go right ahead. Nothing could upset me, mate.
Yeah, careful, Calvin.
You know, sir, we're actors, troopers, so to speak, and we were on our way to Chelsea, Massachusetts, where we're going to appear in the theater in the round there in Westchester Furioso.
See, we just stopped at Mystic Seaport, Connecticut to take a little sightseeing tour. Then we were going on to Chelsea and rehearsals that open next week in the show.
Oh, I see. Well, go on, matey.
And we wondered, sir, if you would come about and bring us back to Mystic, because we have these prior commitments.
Very well said, Calvin. How about it, Captain?
I don't know if that's asking too much, matey. I don't think I could come about, though. I'm on a tight schedule here.
Boy, that's
Right
got him at the right time, I guess.
Yeah, we have to be to Yokohama right on schedule. Tell you what I might do, though.
What's that, Captain?
I might put you in a boat and let you over the side. I have a dinghy here that we could use. I think I have enough hands here to take care of this ship.
You got a power winch so you can lower it over the side?
You bet we do, matey.
Oh, that would be just...
Oh, that would be the answer to our prayers, Captain Larson. We'll be forever grateful. And Miss Rogers says thank you, too.
All right. All right, matey. Lower the dinghy.
All right, then.
Climb aboard. Now I want to give you some provisions.
Okay, wait till he gets it down a little bit more here.
Here, get them some powdered eggs, some dried beef, give them some sourdough starter.
Have you got any breakfast squares?
See if we got some breakfast square.
All right, then.
Give them everything they need.
They're all loaded in the boat, sir.
Okay, well, Captain Larson, let me just shake your hand and say this has been a very wonderful experience. How far do you suppose we are from Mystic?
Yes, how far we have to row to get
I
back?
reckon you're about 150 nautical miles as the crow flies.
Oh, I see.
It's going to be some row.
Right then. Let's get aboard.
All right. All right, we're all aboard. You can lower us into the water.
Bye now, matey.
Goodbye, Captain.
I'm awful sorry if I inconvenienced you any.
No trouble at all. No trouble at all.
Well, he turned out to be a fair...
Yeah, we've landed. We're in the water.
Decent gentleman, didn't he?
Let me man the oars, Harry, to start with. 150 nautical miles. Is that more than land miles or less?
You know what we forgot to ask the captain?
What's that?
Which way do we go? I mean, I can't see land anyway.
Well, I should think if we just go in the opposite direction to the way he's going, we'll get back to Mystic.
Good thought. We can just follow the wake of the ship.
Right.
Well, that wake will end after about 30, 40 feet, maybe, or 100
Yeah, but
feet.
then we'll be in the right direction anyway.
Well, if you think so.
And maybe the radio will help us find Mystic Seaport again.
Very good. All right, I'll just sit back here. And Miss Jerry Rogers will stay up front there with you, I suppose.
I think that would be the best place, yes. Keeps the weight balanced in the boat.
Okay.
We should get there by the end of the week, I think. We've got plenty of food, good weather ahead. Keep rowing.
I don't think we have anything to worry about.
And so Captain Larson releases his prisoners, and our friends head back to Mystic Seaport, Connecticut. You want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
Isn't there more water here in the boat than should be?
That's in the next exciting episode of Merry Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Well, we want to use our facilities here to help unknown young inventors to become nationally known. In fact, we've spent most of our free time this week going over letters from people with new discoveries who do need financial backing. And we picked out the most promising letter and have flown the young inventor named Nimble Flick to New York by, what airline was that, Bob?
I thought he came on the bus.
Well, I guess he did, but we're supposed to plug some airline in connection with this.
Oh.
Well, no matter. Maybe he'll come to me later. Anyway, congratulations on being selected as our Unknown Inventor of the Month, Mr. Flick.
Well, thank you, and it's indeed an honor and a pleasure to have my name associated. Are we on the air yet?
Yes. Can you hear him all right, engineer? Fine, okay. Yes, we've been on the air all along.
I thought a light flashed on or something when you went on the air.
No, it flashes outside the door out there. I can't see it from in here.
Thank you. It is indeed an honor and pleasure to have my name associated with the great Bob and Ray organization.
Well, we want to use our facilities here to help unknown young inventors to become nationally known. I understand that you've developed what you call a convertible table.
That's correct, Bob and Ray. By making a series of adjustments on this dial here, it's possible to convert this table into anything from a nightstand all the way up to a banquet table. Its minimum dimensions are 18 inches square, but with all the valves wide open, it's 6 feet wide and 20 feet long.
It's truly amazing, Mr. Flick. Where in the world did you ever get an idea for an invention like this?
Well, I think the first spark of the idea came shortly after I was married and began furnishing my own home. It seemed that all of my hard-earned cash was going into tables. End tables, coffee tables, library tables, dining room tables.
Yes, the average room does have, home I should say, does have a lot of tables.
Breakfast tables. The average home does have a lot of tables.
Yes.
But did you ever stop to think that you never use two of them at the same time?
Well, no, I guess I never did stop to think about that.
If you're eating dinner at the dining room table, you're not using the nightstand upstairs.
That's right.
You're not doing work at the library table while you're holding a banquet.
Yes, you're right about that.
Well, my idea is to furnish each home with just one table. It can be converted into whatever type and size it's needed at the moment. I could demonstrate very easily how the thing works here.
Well, by all means, we'd like to see your invention in operation, I'm sure.
We have it closed down to a night-size stand now. Then when morning comes, you have no more need for a nightstand, but you do need a breakfast table. So you carry it downstairs, set the dial for breakfast room size, just as I'm doing here, and then press this button underneath.
Wow. Gee, it's amazing. Now this little nightstand is suddenly opened up into an early American-style breakfast room table.
To get a library table, we just reset the dial and press the button.
You know, I think you've really got something here, Mr. Flick.
For a banquet, you just push the dial all the way over and press the button again.
Wait a minute now. If that opens up to 20 feet, there won't be room for it in here, in the studio, that is.
I'm going to press the button now, and in just a moment you'll see how it converts into the dining room banquet table
I'm
of
afraid.
up to 20 feet in length.
You see, Mr. Was it Flick?
Yes, Nimble Flick.
Mr. Flick, see, this studio, if that opens up to 20 feet, I think we're going to have a problem here.
Well, it will. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't think.
Well, you know, any idiot should have realized that a 20-foot table wouldn't go into a little studio like this. He went right through the control room window. Now, would you take your junk and get out of here, please?
What about my bus fare home?
That's your problem. Now, clear out of here.
It's been an honor appearing on your program.
Goodbye.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
Yesterday, Captain Wolf Larson set our friends adrift in a rowboat with provisions to head back to Mystic Seaport, Connecticut, as he took the Charles W. Morgan on its trip to Yokohama. Now it's about an hour later as Calvin Hoogovan is manning the oars, and we hear Mary say,
That must be awfully hard work, Calvin, but you're doing a very, very nice job.
I'll be glad to take over from you, Calvin, whenever you get tired.
Well, maybe we ought to set up some kind of a schedule, you know, like I do it for 40 minutes or a half hour, and then somebody else do it for another half hour or 40 minutes. and then somebody else do it for half hour or 40 minutes, and then maybe the next person can do it.
Well, we can't let the ladies do any rowing, Calvin. It'll have to be between you and Harry and me.
Well, I don't much care. I think I could row a boat. I used to when I was a girl. Of course, I haven't done it for a long time. I don't know if my arms are all that strong.
See Miss Jerry Rogers? She's taking a little nap back in the aft end. Talking in her sleep. We're lucky anyway in having such beautiful blue skies and sunny weather.
It's azure. That's an azure sky, isn't it?
It sure is. Full of ozone, too.
Yes, sir. You know, that bright sun we had this morning, is that sail over wear or sailor take care or what?
Oh, red sky and warning. Sailor take warning. Oh, I think that's what it is.
Well, we didn't have too red a sky, did we? It wasn't too bad.
No, it was a very pleasant sky.
That's the first time I've ever spent the night at sea in a dinghy like this.
It will be the first time.
Yes.
Why don't we turn the radio on and maybe that'll get our mind off our troubles here. Of course, we are going in the right direction, I think.
I hope you remember to put batteries in that radio.
Yes, it has batteries.
You suppose I'm rowing in the right direction?
Wait, I've got something now. Oh, that's nice. The bluebird of happiness. Miss Rogers seems to like the song.
You know, maybe like bombers, we should zero in on this radio signal, and as long as we can hear that, we know we're on the right track. And if it keeps getting louder and louder, we know we'll be heading towards land.
You know whether they have a radio station in Mystic Seaport?
I don't know, but they have one certainly up around that area, New London in there somewhere.
New Haven, sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's just stay on the beam of this station and we'll end up somewhere.
That's a very good idea.
What kind of speed we're making? You have any idea, Calvin?
I don't know. I figure maybe 2-3 knots.
We have in order to canvas prepared. That night the sail was spreaded on
another
deck.
station filtering
The car
in.
was placed in it.
Wonder where that bluebird was coming
Over
from.
a body and sewn up ready for burial, and then sewn up ready for burial the next day.
I don't like that.
But even as they did,
Wait, there she is again. I'll try to keep it on this station.
But even as they did so, sorry, but she came. But she. 1680.
Well, we may be coming into a port that has two stations.
You know, I think we're going to need the bluebird of happiness. I just discovered we don't have any drinking water.
And so Mary comes to the frightening realization that there's no drinking water provided in the longboat. You want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
Water, water everywhere. Not a drop to drink.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Let's check with Wally Blue, who is somewhere with the trophy train. We understand it's en route. It's moving. It isn't stationary, nor is it accepting visitors on this holiday, which is unusual. We'll have to check the reason for that. Wally Blue, come in, please, wherever you are. Let me try that again. I don't think he's gotten the signal. We can hear the background.
Let me know, engineer, when they give you the cue, will you, so I'll know when to start.
This is Bob and Ray in New York, calling Wally Blue en route with the trophy train.
You pointing at me? Are we on? Lee Ballou here on the trophy train. We're approaching Atlanta, Georgia after a weekend of travel. And Mr. Gilmore, the manager of the train, is here with me as we plow ever eastward. Mr. Gilmore, how come we weren't on a siding today and open for business, so to speak?
Well, let me put it this way. It's a serious case of mismanagement. I don't know how we could ever miss a holiday this way to be on
Well, you're the manager.
I understand that, and I'm ready to accept the full responsibility for what I consider a giant gaffe. This is a goof. I mean, excuse me, we should be somewhere to let the people in on a holiday like this. Everybody's out of school, nobody's working. It's a perfect day to have this trophy train at a siding in somewhere. At Valdosta, maybe, here in Georgia. We went through Valdosta early this morning, and the thought occurred to me that maybe there are some Bob and Ray fans
Oh,
there.
the boys do have a lot of fans around Valdosta.
Can't make any changes. Now, the engineer has his itinerary up there, and where it says stop, that's where he stops. Where it says keep going, he keeps going. So I have no control over that. We can't make any last-minute adjustments or changes. It's just one of those problems, and as I say, I accept the full responsibility for making this terrible mistake. You have no idea how I feel about this, Mr. Ballou, because I realize...
I have a pretty good idea how you feel about it.
This is a very important holiday, and when we planned this itinerary, I think maybe we forgot that Memorial Day was going to be celebrated on the 27th of May this year, as opposed to the customary 30th to 31st.
That's probably it. That's where the goof occurred.
That absolutely is where it happened, and I accept full responsibility for it.
So you will be open for business here when we get to Atlanta, though, and the Atlantans can come aboard tomorrow.
I have no... looking at my schedule, that doesn't say that we'll stop in Atlanta at all. It says next stop is Jessup, Georgia. Now, here's another bad mistake. Why do we go to Jessup and pass through a big city like Atlanta?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that question. Have you got the answer for it?
I have none. As I say, this is pure mismanagement, and I have to accept the responsibility, although all the decisions were not mine entirely. I mean, we have a committee who made up this itinerary back in New York before we left.
Right. I understand.
Now, it's my responsibility to carry through on the orders that I were given. Now, as I say, I accept full responsibility for this, although the decisions were made by a committee.
Right.
But listen, I'm not trying to say it's not my fault. Listen, excuse me.
I was going to ask you, do you plan to arrive back in New York by this coming weekend as the original plan called for?
Well, looking ahead to the itinerary...
June 1st, I think it was due.
The itinerary calls for us to enter Pennsylvania Station on June 1, 1974. So that's...
that would be this Saturday, then.
That's right.
Then you will be, and then the siding will be selected.
Then we go through Penn Station, and we go through the tunnel out to Harold, which is on the other side, going out towards Long Island.
Harold?
Harold.
Never heard of it.
That's a junction, you see, and we're going to pull off, and we're going to have the trophy train in Harold. We hope for a couple of days here in
Okay, well, then you listeners can make a note of that. You'll be able to board the trophy train after June 1st at Harold.
Oh, my.
Somebody pull the emergency brake.
Right. I accept full responsibility for it.
The trophy cabinets.
I'm the manager of this train. I accept the full responsibility.
I think there's some damage to the trophies themselves, and certainly to the cabinets. And I just hope it's all put back in order by the time the folks at Jessup get to come aboard. That's the story then. This is Wally Ballou aboard a sharply stopped trophy train somewhere outside of Jessup, Georgia, returning it to New York. And now Jungle Haven, the last roadside zoo still operating on Interstate 5 with real raccoons, invite you to join us for more thrilling action in the life of Blimix.
My name's Joe Blimix. I'm a private investigator. One night last week, I got a call from an ex-convict I'd helped send up. He said he was out on parole and had to see me right away. It was important. So I did the only thing I could. I rushed over to his place and said, "So you're out on parole and had to see me right away."
That's right. It's important.
So I've been told. What's on your mind?
Well, I've had a lot of time to think, Blimix. You know, I was in stir for almost 8 years.
No. I'd forgotten how long it was. In fact, I can't even remember what they nailed you for.
They nailed me because you went to the cops and told them I'd stolen 3 priceless jade statues from your office.
Oh, were you the one that happened to? Well, I had some big debts to pay off around that time, and I needed to collect the insurance money on my jade to handle things. So, to help fake a robbery, I may have mentioned your name as the creep who pulled the job, but I never dreamed you'd get in trouble.
Yeah? Well, I'm going to pay you back for all that right now.
Oh, that's not really necessary. The insurance company already paid me. Besides, you never actually got the jade, as I recall.
No, but I got 8 years in the joint, Blimix. And for that, I'm going to break every bone in your body.
You know, this little get-together has really been quite a disappointment to me. When you told me to rush right over because it was important, I naturally assumed you had information that would crack the Whitford case.
What's the Whitford case?
I've been retained by millionaire playboy Collier Whitford to search for his missing ne'er-do-well son, Wilton. but the kid seems to have vanished into thin air.
Not exactly, Blemix. Wilton Whitford was my cellmate in the big house. We had quite a few ne'er-do-wells up there.
What do you know? You know, it never occurred to me to look for him in prison. Here, look, let me give you $5 for your assistance. Go ahead, take it. Come on.
Sure, I'll take it, Blemix. And you can take this. There, that should do for a start. But I'll need to see you again around midnight tomorrow. It's important, so be here on time. Now get up.
After he'd thrown me through the front door, I limped back to my office and tried to fit the pieces together. He had already helped me crack the Whitford case, and that was the only one I was working on, so what else of importance could he need to see me about tomorrow? That was the question. But I couldn't seem to come up with an answer. So I just marked the case closed and stuck it away in my files. The files of Joe Blemix, private investigator.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
It's the morning after our last episode now, and in the longboat, we see Mary, Harry, Pop, Calvin, and Miss Rogers as Pop mans the oars, and they hope they're heading for Mystic Seaport, Connecticut.
We've got to get to Mystic pretty soon because, you know, I wonder now if it was an oversight on Wolf Larson's part to forget to give us drinking water.
Oh, I am so thirsty.
Boy, I really could.
Well, I guess we all are. Pop, are you tired yet?
No, I can roll more than this.
Is it true you can't drink this ocean water at all?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, you don't want to drink that.
Oh.
Dip-a-dip-a-dip-a-da.
Even if you took a little sip, it would make you 10 times as thirsty as you are now.
Dip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip-a-da. Oh, well, it sure looks good, though, when you're thirsty, doesn't it?
I thought Captain Larson said there was water aboard this longboat.
I thought he said so, too, but I don't see it anywhere. We're in the length and the width of this longboat.
Calvin, you want to tune that radio in again to be sure we're still on the right direction?
All right.
It's the only way we know whether we're going right or not.
The radio should be, the signal should be loud and clear.
Hope so. Yeah, that's it.
The lady sings it. Seems like all day long. I wonder how they can stand it at the radio station.
Oh, it must
hour after hour of the mover.
Must be a one-record radio station. That's the only answer I can...
It's a new thing they're trying. You know, they have all news, and they have call-in.
Wait a minute, there's something else now.
Some stations playing the same record over and over.
Then it was folded over a body and sewn up ready.
Seems to be
Why don't you
jumping
get that
back and
story,
forth.
Teller, anyway.
Huh?
Get the
But
story.
even as they did so,
All right.
But even as they did so, everybody heard the.
Oh.
Sorry. But
Well, all
she
right.
came to but she.
I like the other station better, I think, Calvin.
Pop, you getting tired?
Yeah. I'm not as young as I used to be, you know.
No, I can tell that. I don't mean to infer that you're not doing a good job.
No, of course, I know.
Well, I do know that you've slowed up a little bit the last 6-8 months.
Why don't you let me take over at the oars, Pop? I got a good night's sleep. Okay. No, not you, Miss Rogers. Stand up, Pop. Be careful not to lose your balance.
Yeah. What is it? Oh,
Flip over that seat.
oh, there we are. All right.
Be careful, please. What I wouldn't give. You know what I see now? A big barrel of lemonade with big chunks of ice floating in it.
Oh, Mary, don't...
Quarter sections of lemon floating on the top.
Oh, don't.
That's all I see. Just a big barrel of lemonade.
Oh, boy, that really would look good if we could ever find that. But we wouldn't find lemonade out here in the middle of the ocean.
Of course. I mean, she's just dreaming now. You know, it's getting to her. You know, look over there.
What?
Doesn't that look like a storm cloud? Thunderhead coming our way?
Sure does, and it's moving fast, too.
One thing we don't need now is one of those squalls that you can get coming into Mystic. Everyone's... Did you hear that?
There's thunder. That is a thunder here. You better pull harder on these oars. We've got to make land.
It's raining now. We're in for it.
And so our friends discover that a thunderstorm is about to overtake them. Will this make it impossible for them to reach shore? Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
The radio signal is getting much more faint now.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Merry Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. I understand you collect autographs as a hobby, is that right, Mr. Fremmett?
Frummett. Basil Frummett. It's an old Dutch name.
Oh.
It used to be spelled with an umlaut, but my grandfather dropped that. People kept leaving the umlaut out anyway, so he dropped it.
They do that.
Yeah. I've never had it changed legally or anything like that. We just dropped the umlaut. That's all there was to it.
Well,
We
we
just dropped it.
didn't want to discuss the umlaut as much as we wanted to talk about your hobby, Mr. Fremmett.
Frummett.
Fremmett. I understand you collect autographs as a hobby, is that right?
That's right, Bob. I brought my album along with me here.
All right. That certainly is interesting, leafing through it. I'm sorry we don't have a camera so everyone else could see.
See, I have a book with spiral binding. It's easier to open up and write that way.
Yeah. Well, this first one really is a collector's item. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one myself.
Imagine you had to pay quite a bit to get it, huh?
No, I just walked up to him and asked him to give me his autograph. The wife and I stopped overnight at his motel just outside Cheyenne shortly after I bought this autograph book.
Mm-hmm.
He was really honored to be the first one, and that I asked to sign it. He was quite thrilled about
What you're trying to say is that this isn't the same Abraham Lincoln.
Same Abraham Lincoln as what?
It isn't the president.
I thought Nixon was the president.
Let's move along to another one here. This next page, page 3 here, that looks like Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he's the kind, nice kid. He delivers the groceries in our neighborhood. He wanted to write his name in my book, and I felt I couldn't very well turn him down, so I let him do it.
How about this next one, Admiral Dewey?
Well, he's not really an admiral. He just holds that office in our lodge. His real name is Fred Dewey. I don't know why he signed it Admiral in the book. He's always putting on airs anyway, that guy.
I think we've seen about enough of your collection, Mr.
A lot more,
Fremmett.
yeah. Another whole album full of briefcase.
Maybe some other time. I don't want to take
I
up...
didn't get a chance to show you this one from our milkman, John Quincy Adams. Has a nice, steady hand, doesn't he?
Yeah, for a man his age.
Yeah.
You just pick these things up, and I'll help you to the door, okay?
Look at all the scrolls in this autograph from our janitor, Lord Byron.
Yeah.
Wally Ballou, come in, please, wherever you are.
Axstone, Virginia, this is Wally Ballou, and just a very brief report is all the time allotted me of this go-round, but I'll be reporting at length later. We arrived here early this morning, and Mr. Gilmore,
Yes, sir?
the reception has been good, hasn't it?
It has been, well, I'd say average for this sized community. We didn't have the high school band, the welcoming committee as such here this morning. We arrived, of course, at an ungainly hour. We get in about 3:15 local time.
Well, that's a little bit too early in the
Most
morning.
people are sleeping,
Yes.
of course. We did have a few police patrol cars come by and check us out to see what we're up to.
Well, they knew, of course, you were arriving.
No, they didn't. They had no idea just what we were doing, and I had to show them my papers and explain things, of course.
And once they heard it was the Bob and Ray trophy trade, I imagine they gave you the real red carpet treatment.
Well, they didn't give us any grief, I'll put it that way to you. And they seemed to accept it and said, well, okay, if you know what you're doing, just don't get into trouble, they said.
Very good. Well, we're off to a good start here at Blackstone. The people seem to be happy, seem to be enjoying the trophy trade and what it offers. And we'll talk to some of those people in our next report. Right now, Wally Ballou returning it to... Next, Merry Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. In our last episode, our friends became aware that the lifeboat which they were trying to row to shore was being towed along by some mysterious force. Now it's shortly after. We hear Mary say to Harry,
My goodness, we're going
I've never seen it go this fast. This is scary.
Something's got hold of this boat. That's all I can think.
Hey, you know what? Look here.
What?
That's a net there, and I think... Do you see way over there about 10 o'clock?
Yes? Why?
You see that boat there?
It is a boat.
Looks like a fishing trawler, and I think we're being pulled in on a net. I really do.
That's exactly right. Look.
Look at all the scrod and the lemon sole here, all around us in this net.
Yes, and some gray sole, too.
Yeah.
Halibut,
Whitefish.
haddock,
Yes. Hake. Look at the hake in there.
cod.
And scrod, all kinds of fish. And we're the biggest ones of all, sitting here.
At least we see some help coming to us, Calvin. That's the big thing. Oh, yes. Miss Rogers sees the boat, too. Yes, they're pulling us in. We're going to land up on the deck. Then we'll be able to get back to land. Maybe they even came out of Mystic Seaport, Connecticut. Who knows?
Well, I hope so. They look like friendly people up there.
Yes, they see us now. I think they know they've caught us.
Yankee fishermen are awfully nice people.
Oh, yeah.
They're hardy people.
They're
of course.
taciturn, but they're nice.
Yes, well, of course, they go down to the sea in ships, and that, changes their entire outlook on
yes.
life.
They're salty.
Yeah, but they're the salt of the earth also.
That's right. Well, Mary, you're going to have your first step aboard a fishing trawler.
Just think of that, up there with all those lovely Yankee fishermen.
Look what that says on the front. CXMML. Wonder what that means.
Guess that's the name of the boat, Commissioner.
Or it might be the year it was launched.
Could very well be.
1935.
Could very well be, sure.
Well, they see us. Look, there's one of the men waving to us on the side.
Is he very friendly? Hello there.
Hi, ahoy!
We've been cast adrift on a little dinghy.
By Captain Wolf Larson.
We got caught up in your net, sir.
What's that?
What do you say, buddy? We can't hear you. What do you say?
You know what I think?
What?
I think he's not a Yankee fisherman at all.
He doesn't sound like he comes from Gloucester, I'll say that.
You know, they say there are a lot of Russian trawlers in the area fishing off our shores.
Oh, for sure. I think probably you're right. I think maybe we've been caught up in a Russian fishing seine.
Good gravy, I think we have, Mary.
Oh, my.
Ahoy up there. Yes.
You see, we were set adrift by Captain Wolf Larson, sir, and we're heading for Mystic, Connecticut. And somehow we get tangled up in your nets. I hope you'll excuse us.
See, I'm Harry Backstage, famous Broadway star. This is my wife, Mary. He doesn't sound too happy.
No, really, they're Broadway stars. Just look at them.
I think he ordered the net to be pulled up onto the deck.
I think it's best now that we just be quiet. Just go along with them. Play it their way until we can, make some kind of sensible contact.
That's right. Well, they're pulling us up on the winch.
Look at all the fish.
Gray sole, lemon sole, haddock,
hake,
scrod,
mackerel,
cod,
and the halibut.
dabs.
And look, 2 smelt.
Not a bad average. And so our friends discover that they have been saved, for the time being anyway, by a Russian fishing boat. You'll want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear the captain say, that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Sir, have you ever seen me before?
No, sir, I've never seen you before.
And you've received no remuneration for taking part in this listener comparison test?
I've received no remuneration to participate in this test.
Now, you listened to both the Bob and Ray show, the award-winning program,
Yes,
and
sir.
then to some other program.
Yes, sir.
What were your findings?
I found out 2 things after listening to the Bob and Ray show, and that's why I prefer them. First of all, my shirt's a shades whiter, and the program's also refreshing. No bitter aftertaste. And now, Celebrity Chasers, dramatized incidents about people whose lives have been touched by others more elegant and well-known than themselves.
Gosh, honey, I'll be glad when we finish up these dishes so I can sit down and relax.
Well, it'll only be a few more minutes.
Yeah. Say, Irene, what do you think I saw on 6th Avenue today?
Who?
Charlton Heston.
You saw Charlton Heston in person?
Well, if I knew you were going to drop a dish, I wouldn't have mentioned it. Anyhow, you know what he told me?
You talked to Charlton Heston in person?
Well, yeah, he asked me for a light.
He asked you for a light? You, Sandy Hairston, husband of me, Irene Hairston?
Well, he didn't have any matches, and he wanted to smoke, I guess.
Sandy, what was the first word Charlton Heston said to you? Now, it's important that you get it right.
As I remember, the first word he said was, hello.
Isn't it typical of a man like that to meet a person for the first time and say hello?
I guess so. Anyhow, as I was talking to him, Walter Pigeon happened to pass by.
Walter Pigeon?
Yeah, that's right. Charlton stopped him and introduced him to me.
Oh.
Once the ice was broken, they turned out to be swell guys. We stood around, talked about movie stars we've all enjoyed, like Irene Dunn, Howard Keel, Katherine Grayson, Betty Davis, John Wayne, Rock Hudson. And you know what else happened, honey?
What more could happen to a person in their whole lives?
Anyway, when I gave Charlton Heston a light, he offered me a cigarette, so I took it. Well, I lit the cigarette, smoked it all the way down, and then just as I was about to throw it away, I thought of you and how you might like it.
Sandy, did you bring home, as a souvenir, the cigarette butt, which was once full-sized, but not anymore, because you smoked it? Sandy, do you have the cigarette butt that Charlton Heston gave you when it was whole?
Yes, here it is.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
Yesterday, our friends discovered that the strange force propelling their lifeboat through the ocean was a Russian fishing vessel in whose net they were caught. Hauling net, lifeboat, fish, and our friends aboard, it's moments later now as we hear the captain of the trawler say,
Oh, you're Americans, are you?
Yes, that's right. I'm handsome Harry Backstage, Broadway star, beloved of a million other women, and this is my wife, Mary.
How do you do?
This is Calvin L. Hoogovin, our next-door neighbor, and Pop Beloved stage doorman. And Miss Rogers, Miss Cherry Rogers.
Well, welcome aboard. I speak English not too well, but I'll try.
Well, that's
my worst.
Trying to understand Russian, certainly.
Well, I think you did very well. I seem to know exactly what you mean. You said worst when you meant best.
Yes,
Well, I don't think he wants a lesson right now.
Talking a little bit backwards, but
Maybe you'd like to get into wet clothes.
into dry clothes, you mean? Yes, that would
You
be
probably
good.
mean into dry clothes.
Well, don't correct him too much, Mary.
Dmitri,
Yeah.
take these people above the decks. Get them some wet clothes.
Yeah.
Well, let's
He
do what
means
they
yes.
say. We know what we need.
That's right. We can point out to him.
Sir, excuse me. We're on our way to Chelsea, Massachusetts, by way of Mystic, Connecticut. You see, we were on this boat, the Morgan, captained by, I don't know if you ever bumped into him, or Captain Wolf Larson, a very strange person.
Maybe you've met on the high seas, Captain.
Yes, I have not.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Well, anyway, he put us overboard into this dinghy that eventually got caught in your nets, and then you put us aboard.
That's how we came to be here, and we'd like to get back to Chelsea just as soon as we can.
We're on our way. Here's map. Show me where Chelsea are.
Well, there is Chelsea, and you can see there's Boston Harbor. If we could get to Boston Harbor, we could get to Chelsea.
I think maybe we could not take you, Boston.
Oh,
Why so?
Wait a minute. I can't understand.
If he is speaking the opposite of what he thinks he is, he's saying he'll take us to Chelsea.
That's exactly what I mean.
Here, maybe I can make some sense with him. You mean you won't take us to Chelsea?
I definitely can't take you to Boston.
Good. Wonderful.
That's for sure. No how, anyway.
Wonderful, Captain. Now, if we can just get those dry clothes, we'll all be comfortable.
That's right. Okay, drop anchor.
Yes.
I don't know how to tell him this, but drop anchor is the wrong term.
Should be up anchor.
Yeah. We're underway.
Well, it's coming up and we're moving, right.
Maybe they know more about English than we know.
He knows what he means, anyway.
Go above deck, get wet clothes.
Yeah, we better do what he says.
All right, Tavares. That means friend. We'll be back on deck as soon as we're changed.
Okay, Tavares.
Hello. I can't understand this at all. You have to think backwards.
You know what?
What?
I'm starved.
Could we not eat, Captain?
What?
Could we not have something to eat?
In no way can we all eat soon.
Good. I'm starved, too. Wonder what kind of food they have on this vessel.
Russian.
Russian food? Like
what else?
stroganoff, something like that?
What else did you expect? Probably Russian stroganoff, and of course, the telephone is ringing.
Oh, that's not a telephone, Calvin. It's some kind of a ship signal. I think it means we're underway under full steam or something. What's that, Miss Rogers?
Now, I don't know what that means. She isn't even pointing to anything.
No, but she's looking in the direction Harry went. He's not here anymore. Neither is Mary.
You mean Harry and Mary have left?
Well, they've gone someplace. Don't know where. Maybe we'd better follow them. May we follow them, Captain?
You may not. Of course.
Thank you. And so, the captain of the Russian fishing boat agrees, probably, to take our friends to Boston Harbor. You'll want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear the captain say,
There you are. That's not Boston.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Merry Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Now it's time to pick up some more valuable tips for your home handyman as we pay another of our regular visits to the basement workshop of Fred Falvey, the do-it-yourselfer. Fred, I saw that fresh tan paint on your basement stairs, so I tried to be careful where I stepped on the way down here.
Well, it's lucky you did, Ray, because that isn't tan paint on the steps, it's flypaper. I've used a few simple tools and other workshop equipment to cover the whole stairway, except for that little strip down the edge where you can walk.
Well, covering the steps with flypaper sounds like a great idea, Fred, and I hope our dear friends of the radio audience will make a note of it. It's a fine do-it-yourself method of protecting your home from insects during the summer months ahead.
Well, covering the basement steps with flypaper is a good do-it-yourself method for protecting your home from burglars during the summer months ahead.
You're using flypaper to catch burglars, Fred?
Yes, several of the neighbors had valuable tools stolen from their workshops recently, and, well, it occurred to me that nailing flypaper to the steps would be a good way to deter crime without buying a burglar alarm.
Well, I guess it would be cheaper, Fred, but does it work?
Oh, quite well, yes. A prowler did make off with a handsaw worth about $15 the other night, but he had to leave his $30 shoes stuck to the steps.
So there you have it, dear listeners, just one more valuable tip for better living by doing it yourself. And I'm sure the workshop project you're planning to describe to the home handyman this week will be just as useful, Fred.
This week, Ray, I've chosen a very useful workshop project to describe to the home handymen listening in.
Good.
We all know how it drains the family budget to pay our monthly telephone bill. But few people realize that it only takes simple tools and some inexpensive equipment to build their own phone system that can be operated for nothing.
Well, I noticed that you have a new phone there on the workbench with a lot of wires coming out the back, but I assumed you'd had somebody install it for you.
No, if you'll observe more closely, you'll see that the phone doesn't have a dial. It's the type that was used years ago when the operator placed all your calls for you.
And being obsolete now, I imagine these old models can be picked up for almost, well, nothing at any local phone company, right?
These old models can be picked up from almost any local electronics supply house for about $60.
Gee, I wouldn't have guessed they were that expensive.
Well, this phone pays for itself in just a few months, Ray. You see, each of these wires hanging down the back runs to a different party that you call regularly. So you merely connect the wire you want to use with the aid of an ordinary household screwdriver, and you have all the phone service you need.
And I see that each of those wires is a different color. I suppose that's so you can pick out the one you want to connect quickly and easily.
That's right. I have this red one here for the grocer, blue for the drugstore, green for the all-night lumber yard, and so forth. Eventually, this yellow one will go to my wife's mother in Cincinnati. I just need to find someone driving that way who doesn't mind unrolling 700 or 800 miles of wire for me.
Well, I know that one will save you a lot of money on long-distance calls. But don't you have to pay the phone company to let you attach your private wires to their poles?
No, it's not done that way at all. The wires are just stretched across the ground. Of course, they occasionally get cut in two by lawnmowers or other sharp instruments that way, but it's no big job to find the breaks and repair them with simple tools and ordinary household friction tape.
Well, it sure looks like a money-saving idea for any handyman with the spare time to keep it in operation. But suppose you need to call someone who isn't connected with your phone by one of these separate lines.
That's no problem, Ray. See this white wire? This runs across the workshop and out the window and goes to my neighbor next door. So I can just ring him up and have him use his ordinary phone to call anybody in the country for me.
And, of course, that has the additional advantage of putting most of your toll calls on your neighbor's phone bill.
Right.
So, once again, we've seen a typical example of how to live better by doing it yourself. Direct from the basement workshop of Fred Falvey, the do-it-yourselfer. And now, the makers of Pietro's Pizza, the pizza with the hole in the center, invite you to ride with the men of Squad Car 119.
My name's Sam Finch. Me and my partner, Ralph R. Kruger, Jr., we're the unsung heroes of the police force. We ride a prowl car at night, risking our lives so that decent people can go about their business in peace. The other evening, we were sitting in the day room when my partner, Ralph R. Kruger, Jr., turned to me and said,
Have you got a key that will fit this desk, Sam?
Of course not. It's your desk. Why would I have a key to fit it?
Well, I know you used to collect keys, and I thought you might just have one to fit this desk.
Yeah, but I just collect unusual keys. Fancy ones made out of wrought iron, things like that. Never had one to fit that desk.
Too bad. I've got my lunch meat and sandwich bread in there and don't know how to get it out. That darn Glimmet uses this desk in the daytime, and he's always locking it when he leaves at night.
Told me once he was afraid somebody would steal his overshoes. Keeps them in one of the desk drawers there.
Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to get my lunch meat and sandwich bread out. You know how faint I get if I don't eat right on time.
Yeah.
Darn that Glimmet.
I'll get it. Hello?
This is the skipper. Another anchor factory has been broken into, 4326 Pico Street. Looks like the same M.O. as the last one. Got a roll on it.
Right, Skipper.
Skipper, huh?
Yeah, another robbery at an anchor factory. Better roll on it.
Sam, I can't go out on a call with my stomach empty this way. You know how faint I get.
Couldn't you grab a quick sandwich at the lunch counter downstairs?
No, it closes at 6 o'clock. Besides, I hate to eat in restaurants. You can never tell what they put in their lunch meat. Myrtle grinds ours special. Nothing but veal, mutton, a little bit of waterfowl in it.
Maybe you could call Glimmer at home, have him come down, unlock the desk for you.
I thought of that, but I've got his phone number written on a black book, and that's inside the desk. Boy, I'm sure getting faint. Can you hear my stomach growl?
There's a candy bar machine down on the second floor. Maybe a couple of those have tied you over.
No, I've just got a taste for lunch meat. That stuff Myrtle makes is really wonderful. Just veal, mutton, a little bit of waterfowl. She grinds it up. I stuff it in the casing. I can almost taste it.
Did you try shaking the desk drawers to see if they'd come open?
Glimmered anyway. Yeah, I did. I tried it. Things locked tight. Must be over half a pound of lunch meat in there.
Yeah.
Almost a whole loaf of sandwich bread.
Yeah. I got it. Hello.
This is the skipper. Never mind that run to the anchor factory over on Pico Street. The case has been cleared out by the men of Squad Car 87. The fugitive has been identified, booked, and brought to trial. In a moment, the results of that trial.
While we're awaiting the results of today's exciting case, a friendly reminder to buy and try Pietro's Pizza. It's available now with chocolate frosting as a delicious warm weather dessert treat. Get some. from your local pizza dealer today.
No anchors were found in the possession of the fugitive in that robbery at 4326 Pico Street. The man was released for lack of evidence.
So, another thrilling crime is solved by the unsung heroes of the police force, the men who ride the squad cars at night.
Let's try once again. Maybe they've gone out to dinner down there. It's
6:27 down there.
Yeah, right. It's the same time here in New York.
All right.
This is Bob and Ray here at WOR, Master Control, calling Wally Ballou in Blackstone, Virginia. Come in, please, Wally Ballou.
Said he might have a second report for us.
It's always embarrassing.
You doing everything right, John?
Wally Ballou, come in, please, if you read us. And this is so embarrassing. Well, anyway, he was going to say, in essence, we have his report that he was in Blackstone, Virginia, and that they arrived there this morning at approximately 3:15 local time, and that they had a very enjoyable day in Blackstone and were planning to leave tonight about 10:15, heading northward.
Where will they be tomorrow?
It doesn't say.
Doesn't
I have
say.
no idea.
Well, it'll be someplace north of there, and they hope to arrive back in the city here on Saturday the 1st. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's the day following our last episode now, and as the Russian fishing vessel carrying Mary, Harry, Calvin, Pop, and Miss Rogers approaches Boston Harbor, we see our friends standing on the forward orlop deck, anxiously looking for their first glimpse of Chelsea and its theater in the round. Are we here?
What is this, the forward or the lock deck?
This is the forward orlop deck.
Oh, is that word interchangeable?
What do you mean by that, Calvin?
Well, is it forward or is it lop? I don't know.
No, it's orlop. It's the orlop deck.
Oh, O-R-L-O-P?
Yes, and we're anxiously looking forward to our first glimpse of Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Well, I've been there before.
Well, I never have. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, it's not too far from Boston.
They say it's lovely country.
Well, it's not bad. I don't mean to say it's exactly Acapulco, but it's nice.
Well, how close to Acapulco would you say it was?
I'd say it's about 3,800 miles from Acapulco.
No, he didn't mean that. He meant, do they have the big cliff where the fellas dive off into the ocean?
Oh, no, they do that off the Castle Point here at Boston. You see that big rock over there in that old fortress?
Oh, yes.
The natives sometimes dive there for money, for grapefruit halves, and wax paper with jelly on it.
I see way off to the south. That must be Nantasket Beach behind us, huh?
Well, how do you know all this?
I was looking at a map in the captain's cabin there this morning.
Dippa-dippa-dippa-doo.
What's that, Miss Rogers?
Dippa-dippa-dippa-da.
She says she's never been here to Boston before and is looking forward to her visit.
Dippa-dippa-dippa-da. Actually, she's saying dippa-dippa-dippa-da.
Well, sure.
Dippa-dippa-dippa-doo.
You have to read something into it.
Well, you have to notice where she's pointing and what she's looking at when she says dippa-dippa-dippa-da. Dippa-dippa-dippa-doo.
Mary, you've been to Boston before, haven't you?
Yes, but years ago when I was a girl, I went to finishing school here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Must have changed a lot since then.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
No, you, I mean.
I beg your pardon?
You, I mean.
Well, I don't know how
You
to
must have
take
changed
that.
a lot since finishing school, Mary.
Well,
It's a little joke.
Oh,
Sure, in a great mood, Harry.
you got a nice sense of humor, Harry. I always said that.
He's very happy at being able to arrive at Boston this way, I guess.
Got a sense of humor like a bankruptcy referee.
Oh, here comes the Russian captain. Good afternoon, Captain.
Good morning.
How soon do you plan to land?
Any time yesterday now.
Well, I guess you're going into Rose Wharf there, aren't you?
I don't know whose wharf. We'll go in. We will come back soon and up anchor. Then you can get on the ship.
I understand them now. It's beginning to worry me.
Yeah, he said everything like backwards, kind of.
Look at all those other ships saluting us.
Wonder why.
There's a fireboat sending a lot of water up into the air. as a sort of salute to famed people.
How do they know we're on this Russian fishing trawler, I
I
wonder?
have no idea, Captain. Do you have any way of knowing?
I have no idea. I could understand it, but I don't know you.
Well, okay. Did you radio ahead and tell the port authority that we're coming in? And we'll have to go through customs now, getting off a foreign vessel,
That's
you know.
right, that's right.
Oh, my, yes.
And I don't have my birth certificate with me either.
And I
think.
don't even have a visa to visit this country.
Well, maybe
Oh,
we'll...
you don't need a visa to visit this country.
We can prove we're Americans anyway. Miss Rogers is a little bit worried. Scowl playing across her forehead.
Wonder what that means.
I don't know.
See, I've never seen her look so worried, so frightened. I think it's the fireboats frightening her with all the water shooting
Yeah.
straight up into the air.
That's probably what it is.
Well, Captain, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. You've been very kind, and we want to thank you for these wet clothes you gave us. You know, they really were wet.
So he did know what he was talking about on that score.
Right, that's right.
Well, pretty soon we'll be landed, headed for Chelsea.
And going through customs. That should be fun.
And so the Russian fishing vessel makes its way to Rose Wharf in Boston, and tomorrow our friends land and prepare to go through customs. And we'll hear Calvin say,
I was born in this state. What do you mean, sir?
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
The Bob and Ray Trophy Train is in Frederick, Maryland. And there also is Wally Ballou. Come in, please. Wally Ballou.
Frederick, Maryland, this is Wally Ballou with a report, a brief one, on the trophy train. Mr. Gilmore, I have never seen the confusion that reigns right now among these people trying to get aboard the train. Is it because of your announcement that it was going to leave earlier than originally announced?
No, what's caused the confusion here, Mr. Ballou, is that somebody has inadvertently made some substitutions in our recipe for the Maryland crab cake. Somebody has substituted the tuna fish, and it just won't wash.
Well, I can imagine that would be quite a serious offense to commit here in Maryland.
Of course, these people can spot a Maryland crab cake at 30 paces.
Right.
And to have somebody, and I don't know whether it was intentional or just one of those terrible goofs that happens every once in a while.
They're almost turning...
well, they are. They're getting hostile.
Yes.
And aggressively so, I'm afraid, because we have substituted inadvertently tuna fish for the crab in the Maryland crab cakes.
Well, I'm glad you're taking full blame for it, Mr. Gilmore, even though I don't know whether I should fear for your personal safety. He's announcing that
We
they'll
will
make
refunds if you can prove that you have tuna in your crab cake.
refunds on the Maryland crab cakes.
Up here to the front office, and we'll make the
They'll
money
bring
back. We'll give it back.
the uneaten portion of their tuna cakes
Just
here.
bring the uneaten portion back. That's all we ask.
I don't know whether they can hear him or understand him. It is a scene
That's
of
all we can do.
pandemonium here in Frederick, Maryland, at the trophy train. And this is Wally Ballou returning it to New York.